G'day there everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Now your users are creating Copilot agents faster than people can discover them. Now in this video, we are going to build the agent of agents. So people are creating these agents everywhere and almost nobody in your organizations know they exist. Some are brilliant, some are experimental, and some, well, not so good and just need to go by the wayside. But we are about to fix all of that with this agent of agents. Some people are using SharePoint pages or Microsoft lists or even Excel spreadsheets to document and get a list or a register of every agent that is being created and used across organizations. But this assumes that people actually go and look for this location or this list or this file to actually get an understanding of that. Now, Copilot AI actually changes all of this. We want these to be discoverable. Imagine if we had a single agent that we could go to for your organization and users can simply ask, what agents do we have? What agents are good for this particular purpose? What data and access do these agents have? That is the solution we are going to take a look at. So we're going to go through this concept and build the agent of agents from scratch. Now, I've been using this process and this concept inside of organizations over the last 12 months, and it is becoming a really heavily used approach. So let me share that with you and we'll go through the setup. So the idea is that we build this agent. It is grounded in a document library inside of SharePoint. And inside of SharePoint, we have our agents documented in a structured and repeatable way. Now we can see on the screen here, this is my SharePoint library, an example library for us. Now, these are our agents. And when I open up one of these documents, it is a specific structure. Every single agent that is created, we create a document like this, and it has the exact same framework and structure. We've got the agent name, description, primary use cases, who it's recommended for. We've got some example questions on how to use the agent. And then we've also got and documented the data sources that are referenced and what the agent is grounded in. We've got the owner or team. We've got the access link to the agent as well. Now, these are just links that I have created. We've got status and we've got last reviewed. So every single agent gets one of these. So that becomes our agent's grounding knowledge. Now, if I go back to this library here, we're going to build this agent, right? So if I go into my resources library here, we can see that I've got a markdown file of the agent instructions that we're going to use to create this agent. So what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to, I might download this file. So let me download this file and I'll open this file up in Visual Studio Code. All right, so here are the agent instructions. So we can see I've written this in Markdown. It's got my purpose. You are the agent registry Copilot, all right? Now, a master agent designed to help users discover and navigate the organization's complete catalog of specialized Copilot agents. Now, let me fix up this spelling because somebody will point that out for me. I've got the core responsibilities. I've got the knowledge base. I've got the interaction guidelines and I've got the response structure. So this is just the core instructions of our agent, all right? Now, if I keep scrolling down, then you will see that the rest of these instructions. Now, if you would like these instructions, then make sure that you are subscribed to my emails. So if you go to danielanderson.io, pop your email address in. This will be published and made accessible to the subscribers of my list. So I'm going to simply copy these instructions. Now, let's go ahead and build our agent. So I'm going to go into Copilot and I'm just going to create a new agent from this UI here. All right, and this will open up Copilot Studio Lite, and that's what we're going to be using. I'm going to hit the Configure tab, and I'm simply going to paste in my instructions in the instructions text box there. Now, I will give this a name. I will say call this one agent of agents. All right. Now, obviously we would, or you would come up with your own specific name, etc. That would make sense for you. Give it its own brand, its own name, its own logo, everything like that would be a good approach. Now, I'm just going to, again, copy this, and I will just use this as the description for the purposes of this video. All right. I'll take out the asterisks here, and there we go, right? Now, you'll notice that we only have a context window of 8,000 characters. Now, the instructions here are longer than that. So we need to do some amendments. So what I'm going to do is I will actually head over, and I'm going to actually not use Copilot for this. I'm going to jump into Claude and have a look and see what we can do. So being an AI, a fractional AI operations consultant, I'm across a lot of these, or most of these AI platforms. So I switch between a lot of different applications. In this case, let's just have a look at Claude, right? So let's say I am building actually, let's use Whisperflow instead of typing, right? So I'm going to hit Control-Alt-Space. I'm building a Copilot agent that is the agent of agents. It's grounded in a SharePoint document library with documents that document all the agents that an organization has across their company. I'm going to give you the agent instructions. We need to change these instructions because we only have a context window that carries allows for 8,000 characters. Can you please rewrite these instructions so that we fit in that limit? So that there was using Whisperflow. Control-Alt-Space is my hotkey, and I'm speaking to Claude. Now, I will just paste now my instructions in, all right? And let's see what we come back with, right? Transcribe my audio, my voice, I'm talking, way easier than writing all of that out. So what we've got here, Claude is going to give me the output of this, and it's going to be under the 8,000 character limit. All right, so let's have a look. 9,500 characters. Here's a condensed version that fits within the 8,000 character while retaining all critical guidance, exactly what we're after. All right, so it's keeping the character, the markdown format. Okay, now I'm going to say, now it's only got 2,100 characters. Now I'm going to say, I want to use where we can all of the 8,000 characters because we can get a lot more detail in there. It's pared it down too much. Now, given the fact that we do have 8,000 characters, we started with 9,500 and you've pared that back well under that at 2,100. But I want to make sure that we're using the full amount of the context that we can, so up to the 8,000. So can you add more details to these instructions to ensure that we've got appropriate detail for this agent? Don't be afraid to go right up to 8,000 characters, but not over. Again, using Whisperflow, I'm talking to Claude here, and we're going to go backwards and forwards. And this is the whole concept of what I teach and what I educate people on, is that we're having conversations. We're not just giving it one prompt and one transactional type of approach where we give it a prompt and expect the right result. We're iterating, we're going backwards and forwards, and we're conversing, right? It doesn't matter what LLM you're using, this case Claude, or whether it's Copilot, whether it's ChatGPT, let's continue to have the conversation. We're treating it like a person, right? We're having the conversation. So let's have a look. Almost done. We're at 7249 characters, room for a little bit more, but I reckon that's pretty good, all right? It's now adding more detail to maximize the limit, and it's just putting the final sections in, all right? So we're getting a lot more detail and granularity in our instructions by using that limit. So just a little bit of advice, use the limit, right? Get as much out of your instructions as you possibly can. Last verifying count, removing characters to get exactly under 8,000. Okay, here we go. Well, actually, Claude is adding some additional valuable guidance to get it closer to 8,000. So it's going back over what it's done. All right. So here is our output. So you can see that on the right-hand side here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download these instructions, and let's now give it a different name. All right. Let's say, I'm just going to say enhanced as our option. So now let me jump into VS Code. I'm going to open my file, and there it is. And we can see here is my updated instructions. All I'm going to do is I'm going to Control A, Control C. Let's jump back to my Copilot agent. Let's go Control A, Control V. Okay, let's have a look, see how we go. And we are just under the limit. Perfect. All right. So now let's ground this agent in our documents. So underneath our knowledge, we're going to use and navigate to our document library that stores all of our agents. Now, I am just going to, for the purposes of this video, because what I've actually done to build this and create these documents, again, just for the purpose of this video, is use Claude Code to actually generate these documents. So I've got a folder in here. I don't want this agent grounded in this folder, so I'm just going to leave that blank. But in the real world, I would ground it in the entire document library. So I'm going to select these files. Okay. Now, these will now be added as knowledge sources. All right. I don't need any other capabilities for this agent. All right. So let's give this a bit of a test. What agents do we have? Again, I'm going to use voice. All right. Can you tell me what agents we have, please? Let's have a look. Processing, grounded in our agent registry, full of documents. Here are our available agents in our ecosystem. Now it's actually grouped, and this is a really good feature here. I didn't ask it to do this, but it's grouped it by primary function. Business ops, customer facing agents, legal and compliance. That is excellent, right? That is a really good user experience. I'm really happy with that. So that's from the instructions. I'm going to create this, and let's have a look. Now, this would be an agent that you could deploy across the organization. Big news announcement on your SharePoint intranet. We've got our agent of agents ready for you to go. Go and discover what we have. And all we need to do now is actually just continually add our agents to our registry, provide the documentation in a structured way, repeatable fashion, right? So let's do this again. Can you tell me what agents we have, please? Let's have a look. So our agent of agents, again, here's a full overview. Again, what we're getting here is a grouping, right? By primary function. Okay, this is a really, really good start. Now let's just jump back to our SharePoint site. All right, and we will go back up to our documents. Let's look at our HR policy assistant, right? So let's go. Can you tell me more about our HR policy assistant, please, and maybe give me a few example prompts so that I can get the most out of it? So again, here we are. We're interacting with our agent of agents. Here it is, right? So we've looked at it. Here's the detailed breakdown. Who should use it? Okay, example prompts to get the most out of it. And it's grouped it by the functionality. So if we're looking at leave and time off, here are some prompts, benefits, etc., etc. And that is extremely beneficial, right? So we can see there that creating this type of agent of agents means that we don't have to go searching. When we're building and starting to create and change mindset around AI and becoming more AI native or AI first, then this type of approach could be something that you could look at implementing across your organizations. So the more agents that are being built, the more we want to make them discoverable. Okay, and something like this and this type of approach could potentially be something that is really, really beneficial for your users. So I hope that brings you some value today. Go build your agent of agents.